Hey friends, how's it going? Ryan Kebe here again with Armstrong Neighborhood Channel coming to you with another edition of Kebe's Community. Today we are touching base with the great women from Women's Services here in Meadville, Maria Rosado-Husband and also Marcia Metcalfe have been kind enough to join us, and they are going to tell us all about the great things that are going on in women's services and also the impact that the pandemic has had on their daily routines and the things that are going on in women's services. Because as we all know, the pandemic has affected us all in different ways. And I guess I'll start off by asking you, Maria. How has the pandemic affected women's services? Since the last time that we spoke back in March.
Well, I don't think it's just women's services. The pandemic has affected a lot of people all across the county. So I know at Women's Services, we have been doing our best to be diligent about social distancing and masking. The difficulty comes when, take myself, for instance. I work with the Hope Initiative and I'm in the community a lot. And in the last month and a half, I have been put into quarantine twice for contact. So that creates a bit of an issue when I can't be out in the community and I can't go into the office and take care of things that need to be done there. So I'd say that as far as employees go, it's become difficult, and we're trying to adjust and adapt to working from home and different quarantines. So it's rough, but we tend to think outside the box and figure out ways to be successful.
Absolutely. And one of the ways that you guys were thinking out of the box was recently, I believe that a Christmas tree decorating contest was held. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. We obviously can't have big events with community members. So I was speaking with a community member, and I'm going to give him all the credit on the idea. He said, "What about a Christmas decorating contest?" And so I came back with that and thought about it. And I said, that's a perfect way. Uh, each individual home can do their decorating. They're part of a bigger thing. They're involved. They're excited. It definitely brought lots of light and hope to the Fifth Ward neighborhood. And the engagement was more than I could imagine. So I'm very, very thankful to all the community members who participated, as well as all of the sponsors and donors, and even volunteers. It was fantastic, and I see us doing it again next year.
That's great news. Great news. So, Marcia, talking about the Hope Line, like Maria just said, I know that there are some new things going on with the Hope Line. Could you tell us a little bit about that and give us an update on the Hope Line?
Sure, and just to be clear, the Hope Initiative is an initiative of Women's Services, which makes a lot of sense when given what you know about women's services, and that we're really committed to making sure that people are individually safe and safe in their communities. And the Hope Initiative is a community initiative that's based on being trauma responsive and trauma centered. So we are working with that whole neighborhood down there to help people and the neighborhood build more resilience. The Hope Line is also an initiative of Women's Services. It has the same name, but it's not necessarily part directly of the Hope Trauma Informed Initiative. And the Hope Line was started back in March when the pandemic began as really a warm line for people to reach out with questions or needs, people who were, had questions about the pandemic, about what they were supposed to be doing, but also questions about, food and rent and evictions. And so we were able to put together a very extensive list of local resources and also volunteers who could answer those calls and make sure that people were connected with what they needed. And sometimes people just needed to talk because they were really lonely or anxious. So there would be people on the line who had the training and background to talk to people. As the pandemic kind of went into a little bit of a dip over the summer, the calls began to drop off. And so then Women's Services staff started picking up the calls rather than the volunteers. And then as we've seen this third wave in our community and the worst wave, we have kind of rebooted it. We've been promoting it again as much as we can in the newspaper and social media and other places, and this is a great place to promote it. We thank you for that, to make people aware of it, because they might have known about it or had the number in front of them back in April, but since then things changed and it may not be top of mind. So we have rebooted the line, and we still have Women's Services staff answering it. We have volunteers that we can call up if the calls start to exceed, volumes that the staff folks can handle. But that line is available to get people connected to services, to answer questions they might have. And as I said before, just to, provide an empathetic ear on the other end of the line for people who are feeling pandemic, goes on, of being by themselves and doing all the things that we're being asked to do.
If you are in need, or you need some resources, or just need somebody to talk to, like Marcia said, be sure to call that number, 814-724-1116 or 833-491-4673. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for, spreading the holiday cheer during the Christmas tree decorating contest last weekend. Like you said, Maria, that was a fantastic event, and we really look forward to having that in the years to come.
Yeah, definitely. People should go down to the Fifth Ward and see what folks have done down there, because it's really, it's lovely. And, it's a neighborhood that people don't think about, going to. It's mostly residential. There's not much going on down there. And I remember last year when we took the kids out in the neighborhood, at that point we had an after school program. And so we took them Christmas caroling. And I remember so well walking around that fairly dark neighborhood, with, a couple street lights here and there, but dark houses, and, these kids who were so enthusiastic, but really it was a little bit, discouraging. And this year, if you go down there, it's just these houses are lit up. It looks so welcoming. People are into it. There are other people driving around, looking at the decorations. And I think it's getting people in that neighborhood engaged in doing something together, which is one of the purposes of the work that Maria has been doing down there, which is to engage the community. The HOPE program is really based on 3 pillars. One is community support and community engagement, having people connect with their neighbors and realize, that there are other people who have the same things that they like and some of the same issues that they're facing. It's also about health and wellness. And Maria is down there, 4 or 5 nights. I mean, they're all different times, and she can give you the hours. Distributing lunches to families, who have kids 18 and under, and then dinners. So there are lunches and dinners available for people 5 days a week. You may get 2 on one day, but you'll get 5 meals, lunch and dinner. So we're doing that to try to make sure that people have, nutrition and are trying to stay healthy. Before the pandemic, we were all set to do a health fair with Meadville Medical and Aetna. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. And then the other pillar is leadership, trying to get people engaged enough so that they can start to actually do things like speak up, go to city council meetings, take the initiative to advocate for their community. And I think, Maria can speak more to that. Maria got involved in the program very early on as a volunteer. Now she's a full-time staff person with Women's Services. And I think she's trying to inspire other people through her example about what you can do if you really, kind of have the courage to try it.
Absolutely, Marcia. Um, I'm excited that you brought up the lunch and dinner programs. I just got to throw that out there. We are serving Monday, Wednesday, Friday in partnership with Crawford Central School District. We have breakfast lunch bags available from 11 to 1. And then dinner would be Mondays and Thursdays in partnership with the YMCA. Our serving time is 4 to 5. And as of right now, I do some delivery for families that may not have transportation. And that is available for anybody in the Meadville city limits. Another thing that I just want to touch on too, because this is exciting to me, is a new partnership that's in the works with the Home Depot here in Meadville. We're working on doing some things with employment, as well as possibly monthly tutorials for simple home repairs for community members, because that's also a part of the Hope Initiative. We're encompassing wholeness. We realize that it's not just this problem or that problem. There are so many problems that are affecting people today alone, and there are those that don't have the resources that others do. There are those that have multiple barriers. So attempting to connect our community with community sponsors or different programming, employment, assistance, we're pretty much doing it all. And she spoke a little bit about what we did previous. We would hold mental health cafes. It's just a place where people can meet one another and speak and talk about the struggles they have, and possibly and hopefully come up with ideas together on how to overcome those struggles and barriers.
Absolutely. Sometimes, like you said, we just need somebody to talk to, someone that we can relate with. Now, with I know that we just had the tree decorating contest, and as Marcia said, if you can get down there and check those decorations out. So since that went so well, Maria, is there any previews that you have of maybe any other upcoming events that you could hint at that you have planned? Anything upcoming?
I'm looking forward to the Easter season. Fingers crossed we can put together a safe plan to do maybe, I don't know, maybe an Easter egg hunt again, if we could figure out a way to make it totally safe for someone. But if not, it'll be something else, because that's what we've done. We've decided to adjust and figure out ways to do things to keep people engaged. So there will be something coming up. On another note, currently we are doing a bit of a program where community members, if they don't have a snow shovel this year, they can contact me, and we have a supply of snow shovels. And the only thing we're asking is that they at least shovel once for a neighbor or a loved one, as a pay it forward kind of a thing.
Very, very interesting. So now, how does one go about that? You said that they just have to contact Women's Services to get that shovel?
Well, they can contact Women's Services and ask to be connected to me. But if they come to any of the like food programs, they can see me at Bethany Church, 140 Wadsworth Ave. They can come either for the lunch program, 11 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday from 4 to 5. Other than that, calling Women's Services, they'll get the message to me.
Awesome. Great. Well, hey, thank you, ladies, very much for joining me. Very much appreciate your time and everything that you're doing for our community. And thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great day.
Ryan, could I just say one more thing about women's services, following up on what Maria said about the pandemic?
Absolutely. By all means, Marcia.
Okay. I really kind of a shout out to the staff there because, all through this whole period of time, women's services has been there for people. And one of the things that we're seeing in the community, and I think people may have seen, the police chief, Mike Totten, talking about increases in crime and domestic violence calls, is that as this pandemic has gone on and people are isolated, we really sense and feel that the number of people who are coming forward with issues around domestic violence and sexual assault are unfortunately also increasing. And with the people at Women's Services, of course, we provide shelter for people and counseling services, and trying to do that safely has been a challenge. And the staff has just stepped up in unbelievable ways to make sure that clients are safe. So we still have people at the courthouse helping women file protection from abuse orders when needed. One of the things Women's Services has always done is go to the hospital when victims of sexual assault are there, and that's obviously very challenging at the moment because the hospital is really busy and can't really have people in there who aren't directly getting services. So we figured out ways to do that by phone. So a lot of really creative things going on in the face of really significant increases in need. Just more incidents of domestic violence and sexual assault. So it kind of speaks to the mental health issues that I think are related to the pandemic, kind of the not so visible, they're not in the statistics of how many cases or people in the hospital, but nevertheless, it's very real. And the Women's Services staff have been there throughout this entire thing and will continue to meet the needs of those people.
Absolutely. It is very real, and we very much thank you so much for helping those in need, get through this time. Thank you so much, Maria and Marcia.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you for having us.